ladies and gentlemen, gather round, dim the lights, and prepare yourselves for a tale so chilling, so terrifying, so romantically reckless, it might just keep you up at night. Our guest tonight was once a lone wolf prowling the urban jungle, a heartbreaker whose idea of commitment was making it through an entire dinner date before vanishing into the night. He was the ghost in every woman's text thread, the legend whispered about in group chats, the man who could disappear faster than your self-esteem after reading "seen" with no reply. Some say he had more first dates than meals cooked at home. Others claim his longest relationship was with his Uber Eats driver. But one thing's certain, his past is littered with heart emojis left unread and a trail of brunch reservations for 2, sometimes 3. But now, he's here, ready to face the ghosts of relationships past. Will he survive? Or will the spirits of ex-flames come back to haunt him? Welcome, if you dare, to the wild, untamed love life of Abel Saenz.
This podcast contains questionable advice and unsolicited opinions. If you're looking for professional guidance, please consult a therapist, not two fools who think red flags are a flex. We dissect toxic relationships and love disasters, but remember, laughing at our bad decisions doesn't mean you should repeat them. Listen at your own emotional risk.
You gotta lick it before we kick it. You gotta get it soft and wet so we can kick it. Baby, work it.
What's up, Amberland?
What's up, TT?
How you doing? Man, look at the setting, though.
I know, a little different.
It's
Look at
pretty
everything
pimped out.
going
Look
on
at your little
here.
drinking game there. A little Marilyn Monroe back there.
Yeah.
We're in a pretty cool setting today, right?
Something different.
Where are we or what?
I have no idea. Yo no me
No?
metí al carro,
Did
me
they-
manejaron aquí,
did
they're
they
like,
ki-
you have reached your destination,
Were
ma'am.
you, were you kidnapped here?
I probably was.
Somehow we ended up in the Playboy Mansion.
Really?
Now we're in a cool setting. Today, we want to thank our guest for today for hosting us.
Yeah.
It's one of my good friends, one of my best friends from back in the days.
Back in the day.
Yeah, so me and him, we go way back. We share a lot of, a lot of stories pretty often. And I think it was due to have him on the show.
Definitely. Out of the little I've heard, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, we'll let him talk in a little bit, but his background, he was just a single bachelor for such a long time.
Mm-hmm.
He has awesome stories about that. Eventually led to, him having a beautiful family.
Yeah.
And, everything in between, and him being an educator and a teacher and inspiring young students. And, so we're going to get to know a little bit about that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce him. Mr. Abel Saenz.
What's up?
What's up, bro? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm glad to be here. I'm excited to be here.
You have a beautiful home. Thank you for hosting us.
Yes, thank you. Wherever we are.
You guys are welcome anytime.
Thanks.
This is my theater room. This is where my wife and I have date nights in here.
Hell yeah.
Instead of going out, we'll watch movies in here.
Yeah.
You know,
Can I bring my movida in here or no?
anytime. Oops.
You know what my favorite
This is
part
a
about
nice
coming here
spot.
was?
What?
The pat down from that security you
the
got out
pat
there.
down. De Lebron, digo, Negron. No. But yeah, just thank you for hosting us. We're super excited to have you. I know it was something that we had to have.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'll let you tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Well, like I said, I'm happy I'm on the show. You know, I've been keeping up with you guys. It's a badass show. I get excited every time I see it. I'm like, and the topics you guys talk about, I'm like, man, I got one for that one. And sometimes I'll send
Every
you,
story is
sometimes I'll send you a message. I'm like, hey man, I got one on that topic.
Yeah.
I got this, and I see it and I'm like, man.
Except for the toxic suegra,
I really don't. I got an amazing one. And I really don't got that one.
Yeah.
But like I love the guys' show, man. It's getting
Thank you.
it's getting better and better every week. I know you guys went to Houston this weekend.
Hell
Yeah.
To the
That was
Houston
awesome
rodeo.
that they had you guys there checking out.
Yeah, we got an invite to come out and cover it at our capacity
That's
and
awesome.
what we do, and we had fun. Other than Amberland being a pain in the butt on the way there, but
No.
we had fun.
Yeah, but that was good. I mean, I'm happy to be here. Like I said, I really thought with your guys' show, the way it was going, I was like, I think I can add a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Toxicity.
Yes,
Toxicity.
Yes, I'm kind of toxic nationwide, worldwide at point.
Yeah,
Sometime.
I mean, I kind of set you up there for your story. Tell us a little bit about your background, where you come from, but more importantly, how was your life as a single bachelor, and what are some of the things you lived through?
Well, I grew up in the Northwest, in the Pacific Northwest. Okay. I'm from a little town in Oregon. From Oregon, I went to college in Washington. Then I went back to college in Oregon. And then I came down here to the Valley. I came to Pan Am. I was at Pan Am for a while. Then I moved to Los Angeles for a while. And then the September 11th attacks happened.
Dang.
So I wanted to get
You've been
out.
around.
Yes, I wanted to get out of LA quick. So I moved back here, and it's been a very exciting life. I lived life to its absolute fullest, in my teens, in my 20s.
Yeah.
I probably wasn't the best person, to all the girls I went out with in my younger.
Shout outs to all the girls that Abel went out with.
I apologize.
We hope you're living very happy
On
lives.
his behalf, we are very sorry.
I apologize. Things didn't work out.
Yeah.
But yeah,
they enjoyed it. They enjoyed it.
I was really good at able to balance, going to school, working, everything, and that nightlife. I was able to do both somehow. I don't know how, because I see some people, I'm like, they can't do both. They can do one or the other.
Yeah.
I'm like, you gotta be able to do both.
Yeah. No, and I guess it comes in phases in life, right?
Yeah.
So when you're young, you're kind of discovering, or you're learning about yourself, you're learning about the world, you're being exposed to things you didn't know. And that kind of pairs up with necessity, right? Or, having needs. Like you kind of talked about bouncing back and forth. I'm sure when you moved back down, you needed a job, you needed to find your way to navigate through, pay for college. So tell us about some of the things you had to do.
I had to do a little bit of everything to make it.
Everything.
This was before OnlyFans existed. If not, I bet you my boy would have been OnlyFans.
Oh man, if OnlyFans was back in the day, this would have been my guest house.
No shit.
But no, I mean, it was really tough when I came down to the 956 because I came down, I'm out of state. So I had to pay out of state tuition.
Damn.
So I had to pay for that. I had to pay for an apartment. I had to pay for all this stuff. So, I mean, I had a job at the mall for a while. I was modeling for a while. That threw around a couple bucks here and there.
Yeah. What kind of modeling?
I did clothes modeling and I did some lingerie modeling.
Damn it, boy.
Calvin Klein type of shit.
I used to be in pretty good shape. So I did. It was super easy doing that though.
Con tanguillas y
Not even. I mean, it was so funny.
little elephant. That little elephant. Fucking.
It was so easy for the guys because all it was really was boxers and robes.
Yeah.
You wear silk boxers, silk pants, silk robe. That's all the guys had to do, and I got paid just as much as the girls.
Yeah.
So I got to do that. Did some modeling. Got a job at a gym. I used to work at the mall, so I could meet some girls. And one day I'm driving by, and I don't know if you remember, Cornerstone used to have the glass windows.
Yeah.
And you just see.
I worked at Cornerstone too.
Oh yeah. So you'd see all the people running on the treadmill. I was like, I want to work there.
Yeah, all the chicks.
Now, that's another good place to work. You get to meet all walks of life there. So I worked there for a while and everything, and I went missing in action for a while. I don't know if you remember when I finally went back to school and I had my full-time job. Oh, man.
Yeah, you disconnected from the world.
Yeah, people thought I moved back to Oregon.
Yeah, I remember that shit.
Yeah, you know,
Hey, what the fuck are you doing these days? Nah, bro, I'm studying. Man.
I'd go to UPS at like 1, 2 in the morning, and I'd work till about 7 in the morning, 8, go home, take a shower, take a little nap. Then I go to Cornerstone and work till 7. And then I have class from 7:30 to 9 every day. And I would just do my homework on the weekends and then go out then and go out wherever I could and just take power naps when I could, you know, whenever.
Yeah.
Like your guest I was watching when Rock was talking, you know, he slept with naps.
Yeah.
And then that was...
I could never.
That's how I live too. You know, I nap.
have to have my beauty sleep.
I really
I'm so
enjoy my
sorry.
nap. At night, I just can't sleep. I'm too busy. Like it's, you know.
Yeah, I slept with naps, this and that. So I was doing that. And then I finished school, you know, and I got hired as an educator, you know, so now I couldn't do that, you know, the morning UPS. So I go to try to quit UPS.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we'll just move you to afternoon shift.
Bro.
I'm like, man. So I was, you know, going to the school from like 7 to about 3:30. I think we got out at 3:45 or something like that. And I still had a client that was personal training.
Oh, shit.
She also moved her time. So I was personal training from 4 to 5. And then had to be at UPS from 5:30 to 11.
Yeah.
You know, so it was just nonstop there, you know. I just made it work, you know. You want to talk about having a grind? I was, like I said, many times you guys thought I went
You
back
were
to Oregon.
grinding.
I had to. And, I mean, I was not going to give up the lifestyle either. I couldn't give up the social life, you know.
But look, let's just say you had to do jets. All right, we'll leave it at that.
I had to pay the bills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah,
that's-
I freaking, if there was a job out there and had to pay for it, I had to pay for the lifestyle. I like to travel.
Yeah.
You know, you got to travel. And we've talked about it many times. If you don't have money, you don't go out.
Yeah, you ain't going.
Yeah, you don't go out. You know, women can go out and have a good time.
Oh yeah.
With no money.
Women don't have to pay shit.
Yeah. You know, the tighter the budget, the tighter the dress.
Exactly. No shit.
Tighter the budget, tighter the dress. You know. But as a guy, if you ain't got no money, you stay home.
So, I mean, during this time, I mean, you're going to college. You're new in the area, right? You're a bachelor. I'm sure you ran into some crazy little stories, you know, dating during that era, right? And obviously we're Toxcity, so we love toxic,
And you're in the 956 now.
crazy, weird shit, right? That happens, and we're always, you know, asking for those. Do you have any weirdos that you dated there?
I like I said, I might have been the toxic one. Looking back, I was probably the bad one. But you know, back then I was like, well, what's their problem?
Yeah.
I do have one. I was talking to this girl for a while. You know, we were talking, but I was also talking to another girl at the same time that didn't live here. You know, so everything was good. You know, the other one didn't live here, so I was talking to this one, and the other one was gonna come visit. So me planning ahead, you know, I broke it off early with the other girl. I was like, hey, this ain't gonna work out. I need to make sure we're good, you know, this and that. Oh, man. So right before the other girl gets here, the other one calls me up. And she must have called me from a number I didn't recognize or something. So I answer, and I'm talking to her, this and that, and she starts telling me all these things she's been doing and these guys that she's met and the life that she's living and how great her life is and blah, blah, blah. Basically saying her life is so much better without me.
Yeah.
You know, and there's no way.
Yet she is calling you back.
Exactly. To tell you about it.
You know, and, you know, basically saying like, you know, like even if I wanted to go out with her again, I couldn't.
Yeah.
You know, stupid. I fell into the trap.
Sure.
Yeah, I fell into the trap. You know, so here we are. It's right before the other girl's going to get here. And I go out with her. I go out with her again, right before the other one comes into town. Yes. So I take out the girl from out of town. I take her out, and we're out. And the other one comes up to us.
Oh, shit. Ouch.
Yes. At the table we're at. And she's like, oh, who's this? So I have to introduce them to each other, this and that. I'm like,
That's awkward.
Bro.
oh, it was bad. It was bad. So I'm there. I'm like, oh. So she leaves. Well, my brother was out of town, and I was house sitting. So he leaves me his key. So after we go out, this and that, we go back to my brother's house. We're at my brother's house. Everything's good. We're there. We're watching TV. We're chilling. You know, everything's great. We go to sleep, and there's no pillows on the bed. I was like, damn. My brother took his good pillows.
Yeah.
I was like, damn. I go, I'll be right back and go to my niece's room and get some pillows. And I open the door and I can like see a silhouette, like someone laying on the bed. I was like, I turn on the light. That other girl's in the freaking house, bro.
Shit, the fuck.
Yeah. Like,
Wait, how does she tie into everything?
Yeah, like how does she know your brother's house or like?
Yeah.
What's the backstory?
her and my sister-in-law were friends.
Oh,
And my sister-in-law had let her use a key also to take care of the house, I guess. Or
at the same time, sounds like a setup to me.
Yeah, like what?
it was not a good situation for me at all.
But she was in there like creeping, or was she like
Creeping
waiting,
or sleeping?
Yeah, or waiting for
No,
the
yeah.
other girl to leave, or what was her plan? Was she gonna join? Or,
I know.
like, I witnessed?
No. So I'm like, I turn on the light and I'm like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm okay. I'm allowed to be here, blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm like, so I go back. I'm like, hey, we got to go. We got to go. And the other girl's like, well, what's going on? I'm like, we got to go now. We got to go now. So we go, you know, we're getting out and the other girl's back here yelling and everything. And as I'm walking out the door, and it's just horrible. I mean, I'm trying to get her into my car so we can take off. And she's just screaming and yelling at me. I'm this horrible person. And I'm like, we'll talk about it somewhere else. Let's go. Like, we got to go, you know. And it was bad, you know. I couldn't get her to stay in the car. We're driving. She's trying to jump out of the car.
Oh shit, Amberland.
Hey.
You familiar with that?
You know,
Wow.
she's grabbing the steering wheels. I'm driving. I'm like, man, you know. So
Did that other girl ever tell her anything? Like, did they ever come into like a little conflict? Nothing? Wow. Like, she never said anything towards you while she was in the room with you?
no,
Damn,
it was
that's
just
crazy, dude.
It was just the whole thing's a blur.
Yeah.
I'm sure they did say some things, but it was just bad.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, and then
Wow.
all she told me, she's like, look, I'm here. I'm gonna enjoy myself while I'm in town. Once I leave, don't ever talk to me again.
Damn. Yeah, you're like, okay.
And I was like,
I got back up in this.
but this is in my early 20s.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah,
early
yeah.
20s. You know, I was stupid.
yeah.
Very,
Well, that's
very dumb.
that's cool. I mean, we got plenty of stories, right? So again, we're excited to have you. We're excited to hear them,
Yeah.
right? So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
What's up, Toxcityans? Make sure you like this video and hit the subscribe button.
Subscribe.
Help us grow the toxic community, or we'll tell your baby daddies.
And your baby mamas.
Okay, bro. So you finally moved to Texas, right? You go to college, or you're going to college here.
Yeah.
And sure, you get a job, but you're still single, right? And that's what we want to know. What was single life for you in college?
Well, I just moved to Texas, and I'm having to pay out-of-state tuition, which is insane. It's 3 times more than anybody else pays. So I just moved here. I don't know anybody. So what's the first thing I think of? I'm like, where's a good place to meet some females?
Of course.
So I go get a job at the mall. You know, I go to the mall. I get a job. I applied at a couple different places, and I ended up getting a job at this place. I don't know if you guys remember a place called Clue.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was a women's club wear, you know, back in the day, you know. And, and it was the best job I could ever think of because, you know, women like to go out looking on point.
Yeah.
If they're going to go out. You know, so they would literally go.
Amberland style.
Yeah. They would literally
nobody got my
go
style.
looking for an outfit for that night to make sure it looked just right.
Yeah.
You know, so I'd be there. I'd be selling skirts and dresses, whatever, and this and that. And
Would you be helping them try
Did
them
you
on?
need me to zip you up?
I'll tell you those stories here in a little bit. Let me
figured.
just, you know, I would throw it out there, you know, this
Yeah.
is like, man, this will look good on our first date. Man, this will look good on our second date, you know?
Yeah.
Commissions, you know, and then they ended up telling me like, hey, we're going to be over here. We're going to be at this club. We're going to be at this place. This and
You
that.
were really double dipping, right?
Oh, yes. You know,
I'm gonna get my sale, I'm gonna get my commission, and I'm gonna hit this.
yeah. And like you were saying, some of these
Yeah.
girls, I mean, they would go try on a skirt, right? So and then they'd open the dressing room. How's this skirt look?
Damn it, boy.
And they were wearing a skirt and just a bra.
Yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
didn't have a top.
Shit.
And I'm like, looks good.
Amberland, no más, Amberland.
Great.
No más.
You know.
You dress me, sir.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I
You
dress
know, and then
and undress you. Anyways, there you go.
and there was one particular time I remember I was helping these 2 girls and I thought they were sisters.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm there and I'm helping them and this and that. And they go to pay. And so I'm checking them out, paying, and I'm kind of talking to the girls. And then she said something about my mom. And I'm like, oh, crap, that's your mom?
Oh, shit. You thought they were sisters.
I thought they were sisters. I was
Oh,
like, that's
damn.
your mom?
That happens often.
You know, and I was like,
Does it?
I mean, it happens at the bars.
I go, man, I was about to give you my number, this and that. And she starts laughing. And the mom says, she's like, well, if she wasn't going to take your number, I was going to.
Oh, shit. There you go.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Hell yeah. You're like, why don't I get both of y'all?
Y'all live in the same household anyway.
Shit.
You know, so I did that. I was at the mall. And then one day I'm just walking, you know, to lunch at the mall. And some girl just stops me. And she's like, whoa. She's kind of looking at me. And she's like, turn around. So I'm turning around and everything. She's like, how'd you like to be an escort in a beauty pageant? I was like, beauty pageant? Like, what do you mean? What am I doing? She's like, well, you'd be the guy that walks the girls out when they're in their bikinis and they're in their gowns. And I'm like, sign me up for that.
Where do I sign?
I will take that right now. Sign me up for that.
Hey, boy.
You know, so I was like, man, I'm working at the mall and now I'm going to be at this beauty pageant where like the beautiful girls from the valley are going to be in one spot. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, you can't go wrong with this.
Yeah.
Like, this is
Yep.
perfect.
And you have a discount at Clue?
Well, no, the cool part was there was Clue, and then there was another store was men's club wear called Global 33, and I used to get a discount there, 50%.
Oh, okay.
So I would get all my club clothes and everything there at 50% off,
Yep.
and go meet the girls that told me they were gonna be at this place and this place and everything.
Yeah. Damn.
It was the perfect
You
setup.
had the whole
Hell yeah.
plan.
Oh, it was perfect. It was
You were the man with the plan.
Yeah, and
You know,
okay.
and I'm single at this time.
Yeah,
right?
you're still single.
And I don't know too many people. So I'm going out by myself. You know, I just go out and I'd walk in. I just kind of pretend like I knew people. I mean,
Yeah.
people didn't know who I was.
Say hi to people.
Yeah.
People usually just wouldn't.
You know, and I'd go talk to girls, this and that, and they'd be like, "You're here by yourself?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm here with a buddy of mine, but I don't know where you went. I think you left with somebody."
Yeah.
You know, and I quickly found out, you know, like I said, I had moved around so much, so I'm very comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, and I say it all the time. Now's day and age, I feel bad. You know, like I have kids and we'll talk about them later. You know, they're already at that age where now they're doing those kind of things. They're going out. But I feel bad because the art of picking up a girl
Oh, yeah.
is gone because
Yeah.
of the social media.
Yeah, it's
You know,
different
now by the time they meet in person, they've already met.
Oh, yeah.
They've already been talking.
They've already had phone
You know,
sex and all sorts
the
of shit.
art, and I used to love this part. The art of going up, like let's say Amber, you know, you're at a bar, this and that. You're probably getting hit on by 10, 15 guys, and after
Amber, are you? Were you?
you know,
Were-
like, so you know what
Can
that's
you continue with the question?
so you know what it's like, right? When all these
Yeah.
guys, you know, and back in the day, you had to be that one guy
Yeah,
that
that stood out.
sparked that interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, in the first 10, 15 seconds, you had to get that interest somehow, you know, to get the girl to talk to you because she's already
Yeah.
turned away 10, 15 guys.
Yeah.
And you have to have the courage to even walk up to her, knowing there's a chance she says no.
Yeah.
And now you got to walk right back. You know, so I was okay with that. I never lacked any confidence, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So I could go up and just start a conversation with anybody. I didn't drink at all. Like, I've never been somebody who liked drinking.
Yeah.
I would just go out sober and I could go out all night and spend.
Amber would have turned you down as soon as you said, "I don't drink."
Do you not drink? What?
You're like, "Are you not normal?"
but
Hey, no, you know, hold on real quick. You know what I was gonna say about the coming up that or about going out single, right? Because something that happened to me is later on in life, we all have the younger us, right? When we're all kind of broke, and you know that's usually when you're single, right? So I kind of had the experience where later on in life, once I had a career and I had everything going, I became single again, right? And it's a total different story because now you have a house, you have a little more money, disposable income to travel, to do this and that, right? And the one thing that I did notice is, my point about that was that all my friends weren't single anymore. By the time I became that older single, right? So I had to learn to go out alone, and what that was like to walk into a bar. You know, but what I was gonna say is that girls are a little more open when a guy's by himself because you're less intimidated.
well, that's what I was about to get
Right?
into.
Versus the group of guys, 3-4 guys, you already know they're up to no good. You know they just
Yeah.
want to pick up the chicks and bang. When you're by yourself, it's like 3 or 4 girls can come and just make casual conversation with you.
Well, my technique,
alone.
I already knew the technique.
My technique.
Let's hear it.
Okay. because obviously I just gotta get one girl's attention, and I love dancing. Okay, I love dancing back in the day. You know,
You gotta get the chubby girl's attention.
not that.
Te
just-
dicen el comal.
Te dicen el comal porque calienta las gorditas.
back in the day when I was by myself and single, you know, it was easy because I would just get a girl, dance, and it's so much easier for her to bring one guy back to the table.
Yeah.
Because when you're with a group of dudes,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the girls
Yeah.
gonna be like, but you just bring one guy, they're okay with that.
Yep.
And instantly, you have to give one of the friends a compliment.
Yeah.
Instantly.
Yeah, like,
First
I was
thing,
gonna say,
hey, man,
and that's why I said the gordita, because usually, if you know how it is, right? So there's always like the real good-looking one, the hottest one that everybody wants. Then there's 2 or 3 that are decent, right? That are like, I guess I'll take her. And then there's the gordita that nobody picks up, right? So she's usually the biggest cock blocker, right? Like the gordita's always the cock blocker. She's the one that will hold the other ones from like, hey, I'm leaving with this dude. Fuck the fuck you are. Your mom told me to take
There's
care
a
of you.
movie on this. Have you ever seen the movie Duff?
No,
It
I don't
stands
think I
for
have.
something definitely ugly fucking friend.
Oh,
I think something
shit.
like that.
I gotta
It's
watch
called
that.
Duff.
I gotta check it
No,
out.
but that's usually how it is. And then she's the one that like she'll take care of the purses when the girls go dance with the guys. Like, you know, that's the one. But if you like
And
get on
she's-
her
and,
side,
and they're the ones we leave no man behind.
No
they're like all
shit.
military style now.
Yeah.
exactly. Unless you have a boy that doesn't give a fuck, he'll take that one. Like he'll take
one for the team.
That's where the don't take one for the team saying comes from. But anyways, yeah, you do have to compliment the
Yeah,
friends
you
because
compliment
you
them.
got to get them on your side.
And if you can get them laughing.
Yeah.
The second you can get them giggling at a joke or something, and you already know, at least I already knew, get them laughing, this and that, and then look away.
Yeah.
While you look away, the friends are like,
Yeah. They're like, ese.
they're like,
Está medio pendejillo, chistosillo.
I rarely do this. It's always like,
Yeah, it's always
right, because the guy was wrong.
Yeah.
The guy didn't do it right. You
or
know?
because it's the typical, but 2, 3 guys, right, Ma? You know this all the time. 2, 3 guys, and they come with the same game. Hey, what are you drinking?
like,
you want
bro.
a drink?
Oh, I got
This and
a
that.
bad one for that.
And then you come with the, what are you girls gonna do afterwards? Like, bro, it's the same typical shit.
Dude, I
bro.
got a bad
This
one.
is the man right here with the plan. Oh, by the way, me and him were born on the same exact day. We're both Geminis.
wow.
Birthday's coming up.
But that's right. But yeah, so me and
You
Abel,
guys are birthday twins then?
Yes,
we
sir.
are.
Oh,
birthday twins.
damn.
Yes, we are.
We celebrate our birthday
know.
together for the past, I don't know, 20 years.
Yeah, every year we pop it off.
But anyways, carry on. Sorry to get
No,
you distracted.
it's all good. Okay, so I mean, like I said, I went to Walla Walla. I was the new guy. I went to Western Oregon. I was the new guy. I moved to Seattle. I was the new guy. I moved to Los Angeles. I was the new guy. Then I got a job in Corpus Christi.
Okay.
Okay, so I moved to Corpus Christi.
Wait, hold on. This is, so you're in the valley and then now or before?
Well, I'm only jumping to this story because we're talking about going out.
Okay.
Right? And
Okay. This is later on in life though. But,
Yeah.
But okay, let's jump to it.
My
We'll,
bad.
we'll come
Okay.
back to whatever we're doing. But okay, let's go to Corpus because we're going to talk about some cool dates, right? Or something?
Yes.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, well, I get there and I'm the new guy on the staff. Right? And everybody's...
What staff? Like a coaching staff?
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I'm the new
For
guy on the
sports.
coaching staff. You know,
Okay.
I'm there for coaching football and wrestling. And everybody's married, right? And there's one single coach, and he's my age. I'm
Okay.
like, oh, perfect. This dude's fit and
Yeah.
everything. I'm like,
My wingman right
oh,
there.
we're
Hey,
good.
yeah,
We're good.
Yeah.
And he's from the town.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, we're set.
Hey, babe, real quick, hold that thought. You know what's interesting? A lot of people don't know, but as guys, you have to evaluate your wingman just as much as you got to evaluate like the chicks you're gonna pick up.
Yeah,
because your
no,
wingman is just as.
definitely.
I feel like girls don't take this as important as guys because girls will go out with anybody. Like usually, like and the
fuck, my friends ain't
hold on,
ugly.
Hey, hold on. The hot girl likes to pick uglier girls
Yeah.
because she wants to be the hot one right, all the time.
Yeah.
But guys, it's the opposite. Guys want to go out with another good-looking
As
guy
just as looking, yeah.
because and maybe sometimes it's not always the looks, but he either had money, charming,
Personality.
Tiene que tener algo.
something because no puede ser un pendejillo and he's your wingman and then he's the one that's gonna be cock blocking.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
In
Yeah,
not
because then the
intentionally,
girlfriend
but
ain't gonna want to go with your boy.
nobody's
The
gonna
fuck?
want the
Yeah.
boy. You're not gonna take the girl because they're not gonna want your boy. So it's just as important.
Yeah.
Go.
And that's what happened. I go up and talk to this dude. I'm like, hey, let's go. He's like, yeah, man, let's go. This and I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. Oh, man, dude, we go out. As soon as we get there, I like kind of walk around
Yeah.
and kind of see what's out there first.
Yeah.
Dude, we're walking.
You're like at a bar, club, something.
Yeah, it was one of those where there's a bar in the middle.
Okay.
You know, and people's out,
Yeah.
around. So we're walking,
Oak.
and this and this dude is straight up
The
just
gates of hell.
just grabbing girls by the arm.
Oh,
hey,
shit.
what's up?
Like the rough style.
Yeah, like they're not making any eye contact.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna go up to a girl that's not looking at me.
Yeah,
at
like she
least,
hasn't even like giving you.
Yeah, give me the green light with the
Give me the-
eyes,
yeah,
like a
yeah.
smile. Something.
Yeah.
You know, so there'd be like two girls talking, and he would grab their shoulder. Hey, what's going on? And the girls like,
But
why
you said
touching me?
you said he was like a built, like good looking.
Yeah,
guy?
he was fit and everything, young dude, but that was his style.
Yeah, like he kind of maybe felt entitled and said, "Hey, you know what? I'm good looking. They're just gonna go for me just because I'm."
Maybe so.
Yeah.
He did it to one person. I was kind of like, okay.
Yeah, other shit.
So then we're walking, and he does it to like another girl.
Mm-hmm.
By the time we walked one round, he had done it to like 5 or 6 girls.
Oh shit! The same old like, what's up?
Yeah. And
just
so,
grabbed
so
them.
now the girls are like, man, that dude's kind of, you know, and I'm with him.
Yeah, they're thinking like,
so
that's-
of course,
that's a weirdo.
So those
Yeah.
guys right there, you know, those guys, I was like,
Yep.
oh man, I'm gonna go back to myself. Like,
That's what I was
I'm gonna
going
go
back to my point about you feel you're less intimidating when you're alone, especially if you're cool. They see like you're like you know you don't look threatening at all. You know, you smile back, you laugh at their dumb jokes,
Yep.
whatever, and it's like okay, open doors. And
yeah.
then you get in.
So I was quickly, I was like, man, we have complete different styles.
Yeah.
Like complete different styles. So I was like, I'll just go back to going out on my own, man.
That's a good topic for us to really like dive into is wingman chemistry.
Yeah.
Right? That's a thing.
Yep.
Oh, it's your wingman.
Huh? You were my wingman. Amberline has been my wingman before.
Yeah.
And she's a great
I'm the
wingman.
badass
It is.
wingman.
She's a
I
badass.
have a-
the girl wingmans are badass
Yeah,
because
I have a female cousin. She's a great wingman.
Yeah.
Shout out to, you know who I'm talking about. I'm not gonna say names, but she knows who she is.
prima.
Yes.
Está la prima.
She's tall.
Se la rima.
La prima. I was about to say that shit.
She's tall. She's beautiful.
Yeah.
And
Hell yeah.
so we would vacation together. We'd go out, you know, and she'd go meet guys and I'd go meet girls. But I would walk in with her
Yeah.
and everybody would be like, who's this guy with that girl? 'Cause
Yeah,
she's-
yeah.
I mean, she's probably about 5'9", 5'10", and then with high heels.
Yeah.
You know,
You know what? I guess the challenge of having a opposite sex wingman or wing girl is that
To
people always
determine if they're together
people
or
always
not.
think you're together.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you have to throw those signals like, hey, we're not. And one signal that I remember.
No, not necessarily. Not off the bat.
No?
No.
Well-
You gotta spark the interest first.
Yeah.
You know.
It just depends who you're trying to pick up. What
Correct.
kind of person you're trying to pick
I
up.
feel
Okay.
like my thing was more the eye communication with the other, you know, males wherever we're at when I was with him. It was just
Yeah.
eye communication. I didn't necessarily have to do anything.
You know what? Like, so I have obviously I'm just a cool guy. Right?
I'm a chill guy.
I'm a chill guy. No, but like I have other girlfriends that would go out with me and just as friends, and they were like my wing girls. And one of the things we always did, especially when we go dancing, is the moment we were dancing together, they would think, oh, that's a couple. And then I would tell her, hey, I need you to go dance with a guy. Like, fucking go, or I'm going to go dance with another girl.
Yeah.
The moment they see that, they're like, okay, boom, they're not together.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
because they would, if it was a couple, they wouldn't allow that. But,
Okay.
but yeah.
But yeah, well, that's all it was. I would walk in and girls, I think, I'm sorry, but it's true. I've done much research on this topic.
Yeah. Don't apologize, Amberline.
Don't apologize.
Change
for
shit.
this. I take this shit.
There's a comedian, he says it perfect, and I say it all the time. Like the way women are to other women is horrible.
Oh, yeah.
They are bad to each other. Not like guys to a guy.
Guys cheer on each other.
Yeah, it's like we're like, yeah, girls hate each other. You know, so like,
Shout out to my dogs.
you know, so like if a girl brings her guy around, her girlfriends, you know, and they think he's cool, this and that, you know, they're like, oh, okay. A guy brings his girl around, you know, like, oh man, Abel's got a badass girl. And everything.
Yeah.
I want a girl just like Abel. That
Yeah.
one's a cool chick, this and that. Girls are different.
Oh, yeah.
Girls like, man, I want that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Not one like him.
Yes,
I
yes,
want
I want
that
that.
one.
I can disagree with that.
La roba novios.
I don't want no other girls. Man,
Mami,
the
la
fuck.
roba novios. Yeah. You know it's a thing.
Yeah, it is a thing.
We talk about it all the
I'm
time.
a girl's girl, though. I
Yeah.
guess that's
Guys-
why. I'm
guys-
a girl's
True.
girl. I'm one of the few girls,
Yeah.
like straight up girls.
that's
I don't
good.
want what
Yeah,
you
but
have. I
girls-
can
Because
get my
guys,
own shit.
guys with other guys, you know, like, man, you got a badass chick. You know,
Yeah.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
You know what? It's weird because in my perspective, I feel like it's the other way around.
You think so?
Like, yeah, I've, been
It's
around a
'cause of the type
group
of
of guys. Yes, that has a lot to do with it. The group of guys, I've been someone else's girl, and I could feel like his friends trying to, and I was like, bro, that's
It's
your
big- it's
friend.
big-
Okay, maybe those aren't good guys, but like,
No, they're
like-
not.
Like we've been friends.
Oh, I'm
for-
sorry, I forgot you guys are good guys.
All right. I'm just a good guy.
No, but like with us and everything, like if he's dating somebody, I'm fired up for him.
Yeah.
I'm pumping him up. I'm like, that's awesome. This and that, you know.
Yeah.
Same thing the other way. Like
me and Abel's wife, we're fucking like we're like this, bro. Like we'll fucking like.
It's just the scene as well too,
Yeah.
because y'all are legit friends and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's
Yeah,
a little
that's
bit more.
true.
It's a little bit more mature.
like we're gonna get to it when we get to my married season of my life. But
Yeah.
like with my wife, like he just said, we would go out and she's just one of the guys.
Yeah, she would.
Yeah.
You know, and she's the life of the party, and she would attract girls to our table,
Yeah.
which benefited my
Yeah,
friends.
so it was like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
perk. Like, hey, Abel be like, well, I'm going alone. No, fuck that. Bring your wife.
Bring your
bro.
wife.
yeah, because the Abel Saenz that left the valley to Corpus Christi is not the same one that came back.
That's true. And we're gonna get to that.
Yeah, the one that left. And so when I came back and my friends were like, hey, let's go out. This and that, you know, they thought single Abel was going out.
Yeah.
And I'd go out with my wife, and they're kind of like, at first, they were kind of like,
Yo.
quickly found out, no, my wife's cool as hell. She's the life
Yeah.
of the party. She's singing, dancing, and everything. And when girls see that, you know,
Yeah,
that attracts other
definitely.
girls.
Yeah.
You know, so
Hey, I know you mentioned. What do we call them? Toxic first dates or tragic?
No.
Is it tragic?
Horror first date.
Horror first date stories. Okay, so right when we come back, we're gonna get into your worst first dates.
got it.
What's up, party people? TikToxic956 here. Don't forget to follow me on TikTok, TikToxic956, and follow our socials on Instagram and Facebook, Toxcity the podcast.
Amberland, with you remember when we had the horror tread?
What the what?
Well, not the horrors,
You guys had a horror.
but the horrors first date stories.
Oh, okay, yeah,
The
yeah,
tragic, toxic first.
I remember
date
yours.
stories. Okay, you remember
I
mine,
remember yours.
right, with the missing teeth.
Yes.
And all that shit, right? What else? I forgot what else happened. Anyways, I dated a chick with missing teeth, by the way, if you haven't seen that one.
That's wild. No,
If you guys haven't seen that episode, episode 1, one of my first dates, I had a girl that had missing teeth. So, anyways, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Abel's first date stories. Have you had any stories? I mean, I'm sure you were single for a very long time, so I'm sure you have some pretty crazy stories.
Oh yeah, I got some pretty bad stories. I take a lot of pride.
We use the word toxic here.
I had a lot of toxic first dates, and that's because I take a lot of pride in first dates, because that's like your first impression, you know. So I take a lot of pride in a good first date. You know what I mean? And we'll have this one. It's bad, bro. It's bad. I was never a fan. I was never a fan of.
Look at the smile on my face. I'm like, tell me.
We live for this shit.
Live for this.
I was never a fan of being set up.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. I was not a fan of it. You know, and I would always meet.
What do you mean
people-
set up? Like
Set
when
up,
somebody's like,
like-
"Hey, I got a friend for you."
Yes,
That type of
I didn't like.
Oh,
that.
like a blind date,
Oh,
more or less. That's what it's called,
Well, not
right?
really a blind date. Just I know somebody that'd be perfect for you.
Oh, you know what? Because back then they
he
were
set
blind
you up.
dates.
Yeah, no, I understand
But
what you're trying to
that's
say,
setup.
though.
Yes,
Okay.
I guess the setup.
A setup. Without you knowing.
Well, even me knowing, I didn't want to be set up.
Okay.
You know, like I would meet people and they're like, "Oh, I got the perfect person for you." This-
Okay.
I never liked it.
let's see.
Because chances are it was not going to work out.
Yeah.
And all that was
babe,
going to
and
happen.
we're also talking like back then, when before dating
Back in
apps,
the day.
before social,
Yes.
where you could be like, "Hey, go look at her
Right.
Facebook."
Oh,
No, there
that's
was
so
nothing. It was just
true.
like, "Hey, I got a friend for you." They would describe her, and then you fucking ran with faith in God.
Yes. and I wasn't a fan of it, you know.
Yeah.
And I would always meet people like, man, I got the perfect person.
Yeah.
My coworker, my cousin,
Yeah.
my friend, something. And I'll be like, no, like I'm not interested because.
Because you're such a good catch.
Yeah.
Well,
Try to set you up with everybody.
That's
But chances are it was not going to work.
yeah.
yeah.
And all that was going to happen was they were going to be mad at each other. Like he did this and he never called me again and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then they're going
It's
to be mad
like,
at
it's
me.
like a referral system, right?
Yes.
When it's like you recommend somebody for a job and then they go fuck up.
Right.
Yeah.
And I
I
didn't
could see
want
that.
that. I'm like, no, don't do that. My mom was really like, all my tias or tios, they always, oh, tenemos alguien para ver, this and that. And my mom would tell them straight up. My mom was very blunt. She's like, mi hijo no necesita ayuda.
Yeah.
Mi hijo está solo porque quiere estar
Yeah.
solo.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't need help. So that being said, okay, down here in the valley, you know, I got little nephews and nieces, and before I became the family man, I was super uncle. You know, I was the fun super uncle doing this. I was the t-ball coach. I would take them in softball practices. I would go to all their games. Well, I had two nephews, right, on the same t-ball team, and I was their t-ball coach. right? So I got to know all the parents, this and that, and everybody thought it was great that a 21, 22-year-old guy, single with no kids, would take time out of his day to coach T-ball. You know, so word got out quick and this and that. And well, one of the other coaches was neighbors with my cousin.
Yeah.
And he told my cousin that, Abel's perfect. I want to meet my sister, this and that. And my cousin tells me, he's like, hey, man, my neighbor wants you to meet his sister. And I'm like, nah, good. I'm good. Like, I'm not interested because it's probably not going to work out anyways.
Yeah.
Well, they pulled one on me. One day my cousin calls me. He's like, hey, Abel, we're going to go to that horse track or dog track that was in Harlingen. Back in
the racetracks back in the day?
Yeah, whatever it was back in
Harlingen,
the day. And he's like, hey, do you want to go this and that? I'm like, yeah, bro, that sounds cool. I thought it was kind of weird that my cousin was inviting me, you know, to go out with his family or his wife. But I was like, yeah, bro, it sounds badass. He's like, all right, come by my house around 7. All right. So I get there. Nobody's there. Right? But there's another car there.
Oh, shit.
And I call my cousin. I'm like, hey, bro, where you at? He's like, oh, man, we already left this and that. But can you bring my neighbor's sister with you? Yes.
Yeah.
And so I look, and so they basically told her the same story.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm like, all right, well, let's go. So she goes, we go to Harlingen. We're having a badass conversation. Good conversation all the way to Harlingen. We get there.
Wait, hold on. I have a question before you continue. Had you already seen this girl?
Never.
Okay, you had never seen her. Okay.
No. Never.
Wait, were you initially attracted?
Like when you saw her, were you like,
was she
oh,
like,
shit?
oh, she's a pretty girl?
Yeah, she was.
Oh, okay.
She was pretty.
This matters.
Yeah.
No, she was pretty. She was attractive.
So you're like, okay, I can dig it.
You know,
that's the first impression.
Yeah,
All
I was like, I right away knew. I was like, oh man, my cousin.
So at this point, you already kind of figured what was going on.
We both did.
Okay.
We both right away
okay.
because she had been told about me already.
Oh.
You know, her brother had been telling her about me, and my cousin had been telling me about her.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we're going to Harlingen and we're talking all the way over there. Good conversation, you know, no awkward silence, you know, good conversation on the way there. We have a good time while we're there. We're having a good time. On the way back, we're having a good time. We're talking. She says that she likes dancing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, now you're talking to me.
Yeah.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
You know, I love dancing. So I was like, well, let's go to a club. It's early.
Yeah.
Like, so we went to Cooley's, you know, Cooley's back in the day. So we go, we're dancing all night. Everything. She's a good dancer. Everything is going great. As we're leaving, because we're not, I wasn't gonna stay till 2 anymore. You know, you already have your, you already have your partner.
Yeah,
you know?
that's another topic right there.
You don't need to stay anymore.
Don't invite me to no after parties. I ain't trying to stay till 2.
No.
If I already got what I'm taking home. We'll talk about that one.
So yes, so as we're leaving, I don't know if you remember back in the day, there was an alley between buildings to get to the parking lot. So her and I are walking down the alley, and there's 4 dudes walking past us. And I'm like looking at them, they're looking at me. I'm like, hey man, it's gonna be badass in there. You know, have a good time, blah blah, this and that. Well,
you're all excited because you got your thing.
Yeah,
all pumped.
You know, so she stops, and one of the other dudes stops, and they just kind of look at each other.
Like you kept walking by yourself.
Yeah. So I kind of walked by myself, and I'm like, so I get to my car, right? And I'm standing in my car, and she doesn't show up.
Damn.
So I'm there waiting, and after a while, she finally comes around the corner.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, everything all right? And she's like, that's my ex-boyfriend.
Damn.
I was like, damn, that's awkward.
Yeah. I mean, you're kind of thinking maybe they talked some shit out.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
You know, I'm thinking, well, that's why they were looking at me.
Yeah.
You know,
They were like,
because they knew her.
Yeah.
They're probably like, who's this guy? And I just thought,
yeah, that's her new man or whatever.
you know, so I'm like, well, that's awkward. You know, whatever. So, all right. So you ready to go? And she's like, I'm going to leave with him.
Bro.
I was like,
damn, they did you dirty.
yes.
bro.
I was like, I'm like, all right, well, I don't care. I'm like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
cool.
You got a few backups.
Let me go back in there.
Yeah.
Let me go find some
That's
notes.
true, right? You turned down a couple of chicks at Cooley's.
So I'm like, all right, that's cool. Well, it was nice seeing you. You know, I'm just kind of like, and she's like, can you give us a ride to his pickup?
No.
Like an Uber driver.
And I'm looking at her, I'm like,
That's called a lift nowadays.
yes. And I'm like, looking at her, I'm like, what? She's like, well, he's here with his friends and he left his truck at their house.
Yeah.
Will you give us a ride? I'm like,
Damn,
Oh
bro.
my God.
and I'm like, yeah, I guess. So she goes and gets him. And he has to sit in the back seat of my Camaro.
She's still sat in the front
Bro,
though.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
the fact that you agreed to the idea. I would have been like,
Yeah, get the fuck out.
some
Get
words that I
get your
cannot
own
use
ass.
on air.
Yeah.
I've never been that guy. I don't
Yeah,
like
yeah.
whatever. Like I don't
Yeah.
care. So I gave him a ride. dropped them off.
Fuck off my car.
Yeah, basically. I saved her in my phone under don't answer or something.
Yeah.
Dude, she blew up my phone for like 2 weeks.
Oh shit! I guess
And
things didn't turn out well that night.
Yeah, I'm like, hell no.
They never do. Hey, he's an extra reason, right? That's.
And then I talked to my cousin. I told him what happened. He's like, I know. My neighbor's pissed at her and told Rob. I'm like, this is why I don't like getting hooked up. Like, I can get myself in enough trouble and issues. I don't need help. Like,
I don't need help.
I don't need any help with this.
We need that girl on the show so we can sit her next table and tell us what the fuck happened.
I wish her well. I hope her and that guy lived happily ever after.
I mean, she was blowing up your phone.
They lived happily after for like another week.
I hope they worked out for them.
That's crazy, bro. That's a crazy story.
Yeah.
What about so we had horror first dates.
Yeah.
What about I know we just took a trip.
Most of my horror first dates were setups.
Yeah, okay. So that's already a bad thing.
Yes, that's what I'm like.
Right. I mean, but this is before like the big social media era.
I don't think those setups exist anymore.
I mean, they still do, but what you do is like, hey, if I got a friend, you go. Okay,
yeah, you show them their profile.
Let me see the socials.
I got one that worked out by accident.
Yeah, let's hear it.
When I was in Corpus, one of my athletes. You know, everybody also, once again, you got to meet my tia, you got to meet my cousin, you got to meet my sister, you got, they always had somebody. I had one of my students, sir, you got to meet my caseworker.
Oh, shit.
I was like,
Hammy boy.
What? She's like, yeah, you got to meet my caseworker, this and that, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm good, this and that.
Yeah.
And then she would tell me, she's like, well, she's going to come to the wrestling tournament this weekend. I'm like, all right. But she never showed up. About a year goes by, year and a half go by. I meet this girl. We start talking.
Wait, what kind of case are we talking about?
I don't remember the situation. The little girl was.
But it was a student.
Yeah, it was a student.
Okay.
Yeah, she was like in foster care. It was.
Got it.
She worked for CPS, Child Protective Services.
Yeah, normally when I think case, I think shit, fucking.
No.
Setting me up with a criminal.
No, nothing like that. Nothing.
Hey, nowadays.
That's a parole officer.
Well, if it happens when you're older and they say, "Hey, you gotta be my caseworker," you're like, "Hey, oh, no, that's already,
I'm good."
That's already a red flag.
So I meet this girl and we're dating for a while, and I don't know how the conversation never came up, and finally she asked what I did, and I'm like, oh, I'm a wrestling coach at King, and she's like, I used to have one of my cases. She was a wrestler there, and this and that, and she started talking about. Wait a minute, I was like, and I said the little girl's name, and she's like, yeah. I was like, me and you were supposed to meet like 2 years ago. And it ended up being, that's who it was. Okay. She worked for Child Protective Services, and we went out for a while and everything. And I was like, that was one that the person was right.
It would have been pretty good.
Yeah, that one
would have been.
You know what? What if it didn't work out the way it was set up?
Correct.
It had
That's
to,
true.
Yes.
Things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
But okay, so what I was gonna ask is, I know we went on a road trip and Amberland made my life hell. No, it was badass. But we talked about on our last episode. We talked about like horror vacation.
Like on the
couples.
trip.
Right.
And that happens like at many capacities. Like usually it's on the road because you spend so many hours, and I gotta pee and get the fuck off, and it's cold. Turn the music down. This and that. but I've also seen it. Like I've gone with a couple friends that we fly there, and then just anything, right? Like the bag gets lost, and they're like, "I told you not to bring that bag," or just anything, right? So have you ever had any of those?
I have actually. I have. There was I have a cousin and his wife. They always take these great vacations, and they always have it looked like they have a great time.
Yeah.
Right? They got married and they have a great relationship and everything. I was like, hey, invite me.
Yeah.
I want to go to these places with you guys. And they're kind of looking at me like, you'll be the third wheel. And I'm like, hey, you don't need to worry about that.
I'll take care of myself.
Like, you're never going to see me. I'm like, I'll see you when we get to there on the airport, and I'll see you when the day we're leaving. I promise. I just want to go to these destinations with you guys.
Yeah.
So they invited me on one, right? And there was going to be us three, and I was like fired up for it. The last second, a girl that I had met through them invited herself to go along and everything. I was like, I mean, we had talked a few times, but we weren't like a couple
thing or anything.
We had just talked a few times, gone out a few times, but she lived in Houston, so it was nothing serious. So we ended up going, and talk about being stuck now. We're there for like 4 or 5 days.
But were you into her or no? Or you just I mean, I would have straight
Was
up
there a
said,
little connection
There
at
was.
least?
There-
Okay.
there
okay.
was.
She was a badass
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I had gone to
yeah.
Houston to see her.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
She had come to Corpus a couple times to
Yeah,
see
yeah,
me.
yeah. And she was paying for her own shit. So
Yeah, yeah.
You were like, you know
Okay,
what?
yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
You know, but
Okay.
I guess she thought it was more than it was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so she went, and I'm stuck with her for like 4 or 5 days. You know, and I instantly knew, like, this ain't the one.
Yeah.
You know, and this ain't the one.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm gonna enjoy myself while I'm here. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna mess it up for everybody. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
that couple. You know, and we've been around those couples that are like
Yeah.
bad. I'm like, what do you do?
Yeah.
I was not gonna be that one. So we had a good time, this and that. She is thinking the trip is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm counting
perception.
down. I'm counting down to like,
Yeah.
oh, man.
Damn.
So we're flying back.
Yeah.
Right? We're flying back, and as soon as the airplane or the pilot comes on and says, we're going to start our descent into Houston, you know, this and
Yeah.
that. I turn around, I'm like, hey, I just want you to know, like, when we touch down in Houston, you're going to go your way, and I'm going to go my way.
Bro.
And she was kind of like, what? I'm like, it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
And she wanted an explanation. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
I don't know what to tell you. It's just not going to
Yeah.
work. You know, and I've told the story a few times, and people think it's harsh and this and that. And this will come up again when we talk about my wife. You know, I didn't meet my wife till I was 33. And she wanted to know, how are you still single? You've never lived with anybody. You've never been married. You've never been engaged. How? Because I was always quick to like, this ain't going to work. I'm
Yeah.
out. Why waste another
don't
day?
waste no time.
Why waste one more day when I
You can
already
already
know?
tell.
Yeah, when I
Yeah.
already know that's not the one. Why waste? I'm doing myself a disservice and her.
Yeah.
You know, like for example, like she probably thought that trip went great. You know, and if I let her leave thinking that, I think that's worse than what I
Yeah.
did.
No,
I
you
have
know.
a little question.
Yeah.
Throughout the time on the vacation, what were you treating her? Like, how were you treating her?
That's a good
Like, when
question.
y'all were going out, were you like vibing with her? Were you
Yeah.
trying to do your own thing,
Or- or- no, no, or
everything
were you
everything y'all
giving the
did was
perception?
like or everything that
mean,
y'all did was like kind of like together?
Everything was together because
Because you see
So
that,
you were
that made
you
a
were in
big
the same
thing.
room.
because it was my cousin and his wife. Right.
So it was kind of like you guys were the other couple.
Yeah, yeah.
So I feel like you should have been like, hey, you know what? I know we're going on this trip together, but you should have laid it out there, not when you guys were coming home.
No, because that would have made the trip bad. It would have made it bad for.
So you did it for the sake of the
No one
trip
told her
and
to
the
invite
people.
herself.
Well, it would have made the trip bad for me and her.
Okay.
And probably for my cousin and his wife. And I'm not going to ruin
Yeah,
that for
okay.
them.
Hey,
I
but I
see
guess
it.
the question is
Because now the girl's there crying and my cousin's wife is having to.
oh, you're breaking
Yeah.
breaking people's
and
hearts
it's
on vacation.
interfering with her vacation. Okay, I
Right.
could see
Yeah,
this.
I'm not going to do
but-
that. I was not going to do that.
Hey, but you know what? The way I see it is like, fuck it. I paid my part.
I'm gonna
not
do what the fuck I wanna
Yeah,
do
I'm not gonna
over
go
here.
fucking ruin my shit for
Yeah.
like this. I'm only in fucking Cancun or wherever the hell you were at for like a little bit, spending my money.
Exactly.
Fuck this chick, but fuck this.
Yeah, same.
But you know what? Anyways, that's us because
But this is Abel.
that's
But
why
this is
we're
Abel.
Toxcity.
That's why we are Toxcity King
No.
and Queen.
And that's why, as the life I lived, I've bet you can't find too many people say a bad thing about me. An ex. You know, because I would tell them straight up, like,
Yeah.
this ain't going to work.
Yeah.
And like I said, that trip alone, I tell everybody, I'm like, I could have waited till I got back to Corpus and broke up with her through text?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
anything? Like, no, like, I do it there. Who knows? Maybe she's walking down the airport and runs into Mr. Right.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Well,
not me.
it's kind of the perception. You could have done it over there, and she could have met Mr. Right.
She could have, but it would have been awkward for everybody else.
Hey, no, but to Amber's point was, so you guys were in the same room,
Yes.
right? And during that time, like, were you cuddling up? Were you hitting it? Like, what was going on?
Yeah, no, that's huge. Because she's like, damn, I'm on this badass vacation
because
with
that's
this
kind of why the
guy.
perception stays there. Like,
Yeah.
oh, like she's in cloud nine. You're like, bro, you're just
waiting
like,
for this time to go.
yeah, you're just because I have no choice. You shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
know?
We were in the same room.
Okay.
At least you had something to take back for sure every night.
Hey, you know what? Yeah, exactly. Right. You didn't have to do much work.
There was no work
But even
put
if
into
you
that.
look, even there's a difference. Like even if you're hitting it, like, are you cuddling afterwards? Like, is that because that's where she could have gotten the perception.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? I found my man.
I feel
we're
like
on
she knew.
vacation.
I feel like she knew.
Okay, you did enough to let her know.
Yes.
Okay,
I think, I think
that's
she
fair.
knew I wasn't all in. You know, I wasn't
That's
all,
fair.
Right.
That's fair.
You
Okay.
know. And there's been girls I've dated before,
Yeah.
and where they'll ask me, like she asked me,
Yeah.
she's like, "What went wrong? Like, what's
Yeah.
the problem?" tell me how you want me to act. I'm like, no. You be you.
Yeah.
You know, I say this all the time.
Don't try to be what I want you to be.
You be you, and somebody's gonna love you for you.
It ain't gonna be me.
It's not gonna be me.
It ain't gonna be me, but
you know,
somebody's gonna love you.
No, I'm just saying, because like I could tell them like, hey, I want you to do A, B, and C.
Yeah.
Okay, and they can act like A, B, and
they're
C
gonna go
for
do
6
it.
months, and then they're gonna come back.
Yeah.
And all we did was lose 6 months.
Yeah.
You know, all we did was lose 6 months because she was acting like this person.
All right, so those are some 2 good stories. Let me ask you, did you because you were a bachelor for a long time, right? Did you ever have like, and you do you know how the case is like when you're single, right? You're talking to multiple people. Why? Because you're not committed to any of them yet. You're getting to know all of them.
Correct.
Did you ever have any situations where that would clash? Like maybe the same girl would show up to your house or anything like that?
Yes, I actually had some pretty bad situations, and kind of the same person.
The same person from the trip?
No, different person. Okay, there was one. This one was an actual girlfriend. We're actual girlfriend, and she always thought I was talking to other girls or my ex, this and that.
But were you?
No, when I'm in a relationship, like I was good.
Okay.
You know, once I got older.
What does that sound like?
I don't.
It doesn't ring a bell.
I just don't like the drama. Like I hate. I would see my friends. They'd get a text message from their girl, call me, and they're instantly like, oh man, what'd she find out?
Yeah.
I don't need that stress. So when I was single, I was 100% single. So she never believed me.
Okay.
Right? She always assumed I was talking to other girls until she became my ex. You know, once she became my ex, she found out like that's not how it is. Well, this girl was still trying to get with me, and she sent herself flowers to my work.
Oh shit.
Yes, this is toxic. This is toxic to another level.
Yeah, to your work.
This is when I was the general manager of Cornerstone Fitness Center. You know, I'm the general manager. Some flowers get delivered.
Yeah.
And it says to Abel Saenz.
Yeah.
To deliver to this member, which was my ex-girlfriend, from a secret admirer. And I'm like, so I call her up. I'm like, hey, there's some flowers here for you. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I don't know. Some secret admirer sent you some flowers, you know, come pick them up.
But they came to my name.
Yeah. They're delivered to the general manager, Abel Saenz, for member, and then her name, secret admirer. And I'm like, come pick up your flowers. She's like, I don't want them, this and that. Do whatever you want with them. I'm like, look, there's some flowers here. They're beautiful. Come pick them up. Some secret admirer. She's like, I'm not going to go pick them. Makes this big old deal about it, right? So I and some of the other trainers there have nothing better to do.
Yeah.
So we call the flower shop. And we call them up like, hey, some flowers just got delivered and the wrong person picked up. Right? Someone that probably doesn't normally do this.
Yeah.
So I'm asking him about the flowers, this and that. And he's like, yeah, you know, he reads the whole message and then tells me the person who paid for them.
Yeah.
The name on the credit card was my ex-girlfriend's mom.
Dang.
That's the name on the credit card. And then he goes, oh crap.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's up, man? He's like, well, at the bottom of the page it says, do not give out any information.
Somebody's getting fired.
Yes, I was like, oh, all right. So that was pretty funny.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? And chicks do that, right? I don't know. Have you, Amberland, have you ever known of any friends or girls that send themselves flowers like on Valentine's?
No.
Or anything like that?
No.
I have.
Really.
I've known of people who like that's actually like a thing.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's weird, but it's all about perception, right? Like it's all about a lot of the times, like on Valentine's or special days like that, birthdays, it's like, oh look, they got me flowers, right?
Yeah, no.
But sometimes they don't have anybody, so they just do it themselves, and they're like, look, my secret admirer.
I'd rather just not
That's
have
hilarious.
anything delivered to me, bro.
No shit.
That's some sad shit. That is some sad shit.
Unless it's some White Claws.
Unless it's some White Claws. I buy myself that all the time. Oh no, now it's you.
bro.
Now you buy them.
Toxcity buys them for you.
Well, so that same girl, I mean, we would still go out every once in a while, but we were broken up. And I was single, so we'd still go out every once in a while. And then I started dating this girl. So I told her straight up, I'm like, hey, we're done. And she's like, what do you mean we're done? I'm like, well, I'm dating somebody. Once I'm dating somebody that's over, she's like, whatever, this and that and everything. Who is she? And I said the girl's name, and they had history.
Damn.
Oh shit.
The girl I was dating had drama with one of her sisters.
Damn.
And a guy. So then I just added fuel to the fire, and man, that was just
Was that here?
yes.
Yeah, figured.
Yeah.
Figured.
That's some 956
That's some
shit.
956 shit.
Yeah, so there was already issues in the family with that girl, and now it's kind of the same thing. Now I'm dating this girl, and man, that was just got ugly. That was stressful and just toxic
Yeah.
all around.
Crazy.
Yeah, that was I couldn't believe it, and I was trying to tell her, but she was purposely trying to mess up my relationship now. So it got to the point where she would call, I would just hand it to my girl. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude. I'm like, I keep telling her, stop calling me. See
Yeah.
what you can do. You know,
Yeah.
it just got worse and worse and everything. And
Damn,
yeah, it was pretty bad. It was pretty ugly.
Did you ever have any girls come to your house at the same time?
Yes.
Did you ever invite any girls at the same time?
Yeah.
Well, back in the day, like I said, this text
Back in the day,
Back in the days.
like
you were a hoe.
back in the day, you could send out a mass text message, and only you would receive the replies.
Yeah.
I know now it's group texting.
It wouldn't group.
Yeah, back in the day, you could send out.
Yeah, you can get in trouble for doing that right now.
Yeah.
It's gonna send to Stacy,
Hell
to
yeah.
Tiffany,
yeah,
to
yeah.
Good morning, beautiful.
Happy Monday.
All 37 of y'all.
Unfortunately, when that first happened, the group messages, I don't think they told everybody that.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were getting busted with that when
Yeah,
I first
yeah.
started the group messages.
Oh yeah.
You found out the hard way.
Yes, because back in the day, I could just be like, "Hey, good morning, beautiful," and send it out.
Send.
Man.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I would just get the message back.
And y'all ain't shit.
Yeah. Well, back in the day, also sometimes I didn't feel like going out. You know, I
Yeah.
was just like, I don't feel like going out. So, at around the 1 o'clock time, whatever, you send out some messages and see who's out.
The one that called.
Ontas. Ontas.
No, do you have any plans for tonight?
Yeah, what are you doing? I'm just here, you know. And so they would respond and, hey, come over, to like 3 or 4 of them,
Damn.
and see who would show up. Just make sure you lock the door first.
So you would tell them that in the message?
Yeah.
Hey, come over. Let's Netflix and chill, whatever. Just come hang out, but lock the door on your way in.
Blockbuster and chill.
So, okay, so if you're sending that to 3 or 4, that means that you're basically saying, I don't care which one shows up, but after the first one, lock the door, and the other ones, if they show up, they show up.
Like I said, I was a bad guy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You have this psycho bitch outside your door knocking
I
while
know,
the
right?
other
Knocking on
one's
the door.
pulling up. The other one's already in your bed. Like, what the fuck?
No, you just ignore their, hey, I wasn't home. I had to run.
I had already left.
Yeah, I had to run.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
it was,
That's why you continue to be the man with the plan in my head. You had this shit worked up.
Yeah.
but this is like all in my 20s.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
in my
yeah.
20s.
We're talking about back in the day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is back in the day, you know. So I was good, you know. I was single, so I was
Yeah.
technically not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's all about
The
strategy.
technicalities.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's up, Toxidians? Make sure you like this video and hit the subscribe button.
Subscribe.
Help us grow the toxic community, or we'll tell your baby daddies.
And your baby mamas.
Man, we really enjoyed how, all your stories and, single Abel. I know now, you're an inspiring role model for a lot of students. How did you get from that to now?
It was a long road, like I didn't meet my wife till I was 33 for the second time. Okay. So I guess a little backstory is, okay, my wife is actually originally from Mexicali,
Okay.
Mexico, which is kind of Southern California.
Yeah.
She's a Southern California girl. And I'm from a little town in Oregon. It's a little country town. A lot of farmers and workers and stuff like that,
Yeah.
ranchers. Well, she moves and her whole family moves to my hometown from Mexicali, which is a big city. She's a city girl, basically,
Yeah.
in Mexico. And she does not speak any English, my wife, at all. And I don't speak any Spanish at all.
The first time you met.
The first time we met.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll go back to that. So all these years go by, and our paths crossed again. I'm already 33 years old at this time.
Yeah.
And I'd already given up on the family thing. I
Yeah.
had already given up. I was like, maybe I was meant to be single.
Yeah.
Maybe I was meant.
Were you getting any pressure from the family? Like, hey, you need to settle down.
Oh yeah,
type of deal?
yes. Everybody was like, ya es tiempo, Abel. Like my mom wanted some grandkids,
Yeah.
this and that. My brothers were like, hey, it's already time, this and that. And I'd already given up at 33. I was already like, it just wasn't meant to be. I guess I'm supposed to be the single guy, the cool uncle for life. So I'd already given up on that idea. And my wife and I, or at the time, Anna and I made a connection. I was back in town one time, and I was a little bit more mature now. When we first met, I was 13 and she was 17. And she didn't speak any English, and I didn't speak any Spanish, so there was no chance. So now, we're having a little conversation, everything, and we kept in touch after that. I spoke a little bit of Spanish by then. She spoke English by then, so we kept in touch, and we were talking. And she was just like, how are you still single at 33?
Yeah.
This and that. You never been married? I'm like, no. You never been engaged? I'm like, no. And everything. And I was like, so we just kind of started talking, and she came to visit me in Corpus. And we started talking, and we're having a great time. We have a great relationship because we had so much time before we met in person.
Yeah.
We had been talking and messaging for like 4 or 5 months.
Okay.
Where we're talking over the phone, we're messaging for 4 or 5 months, and we have funny stories because we're talking. I was actually at her wedding.
Oh, shit.
She
had been married first.
She had been married.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry, I should have said that part.
Yeah.
She had been married, and she had 3 kids from her previous relationship.
Yeah.
And we started talking, and I was like, I was actually at your wedding.
Bro, so funny.
That's hilarious.
And she's like, what? I'm like, yeah, So
Did you take a good gift?
She's like, that's how I remember you. You took the chafo
You're the one that
gift.
didn't bring a gift.
Well, the way it happened was I don't even remember why I was in town. I went back to Oregon for something. I was in town, and I get in town, and my parents were getting ready. I'm like, ¿pa dónde van? Pa una boda, this and that. We're going to go. I'm like, oh, okay. ¿En dónde? So they told me it was in town, this and that. I was like, well, I'm not going to meet my friends till later. I'll go to the wedding too. So I go, and it was her wedding.
Damn.
You're pre-gaming at her wedding. Bro.
I was like,
Hooking up with bridesmaids.
but this is like way before and everything. So I live my life. I come back to Texas, this and that. Years go by. She's divorced now. And this is when we start talking and this and that. And so everything was amazing with her. We've never had a bad conversation.
Yeah.
We never had something not to talk about.
Yeah.
Growing up, like I always told my mom that I was going to meet my wife in Miami. Even though I grew up in Oregon. I was like, I'm going to meet my wife in Miami because I've always liked the multicultures.
Yeah.
And Miami's got everything.
Yeah.
So I'd always joke around with my mom. I'm going to meet somebody who's part Puerto Rican, part Dominican, part Mexican, part Cuban, this and that, speaks all these languages. Ay, mijo, whatever. So when her and I were talking, at first she would talk and she was embarrassed because she said that she has an accent. And I'm like,
who's embarrassed? Your wife, Anna?
Yeah, she was embarrassed because she said she has an accent. I'm like, you have no idea what kind of plus that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I chose you.
Yes, I'm like, that's
huge... on my checklist.
Yeah, like you have no idea. My list of women is Sofia Vergara, Selma Hayek, Penelope Cruz.
All with bad accents. All with terrible accents.
All those good accents. And,
sexy as
and I would, and I would tell her, I'm like, that's your best quality. I'm like, don't you ever lose it, and this and that. So we had great conversations. She was everything I was looking for in a woman. I mean, my mom.
Except the kids, or that was something you had never thought of?
As crazy as this sounds, she's the one had the problem with that.
That you didn't have
No.
kids. Oh, she did.
That she had the kids.
Okay.
That she had, like in street terms, like the baggage.
Yeah.
She's the one that had the bigger issue than I did. Because I'm telling you, our conversations were deep.
Yeah.
Great. She comes from a huge family. She's number 10 out of 11 kids.
Wow.
Damn.
My mom comes from a family of 10. My mom was 1 out of 10. Her family's super close. My family's super close. Like, check. Everything was check. Everything was great. But her problem was that she had 3 kids. She thought that was a problem.
So she felt like
it was like a deal breaker kind of. Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. Like if you ask pretty much any other case right now or any scenario. Okay, la muchacha tiene 3 hijos y él es soltero y no tiene. It comes across as
and I see it.
Yeah.
Okay, and I see it, but I was trying to convince her to move to Texas. And she's like, I can't do that to you. She's like, I got 3 kids. She's like, you got none. She's like, you have no kids. You've never been married. You've never been engaged. You've never even lived with anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to just show up with 3 kids and do that to you. You already have your career. You have your house. You have everything going for you. And I straight up told her, I go, but I'm 33. I should
Time's a ticking.
I should have a family by now.
Yeah.
You know, I go, it's perfect. I told her, I go, your kids need a dad. I need kids.
Yeah.
Works out perfect.
So let me ask you. Let me backtrack because obviously we've been friends for a long time. But so little Abel, right? Your
Right.
youngest son, who is the son you share with her.
Correct.
Was he born? Like, was she pregnant of him when you started telling her to move to Texas,
No.
or that happened afterwards?
That happened afterwards.
So you were a single guy willing to take on a woman with 3 kids without an direct obligation, because for some reason I told Amberland and I was thinking about it that I felt like little Abel was coming, right? He was already in the big, and then that's kind of like what pushed it through.
I think that's what finally convinced her.
Okay, but not you.
I had
You
been-
were already.
I
Like,
was trying.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
and my family was all in.
Okay.
Like I tell you, I'm really close to my siblings.
Yeah.
You know, so when I would tell my siblings about her, you know, that she had 3 kids, my brother's like, perfect.
Yeah.
Instant family. That's what you need. You need something that's going to bring you down.
Save the time.
Yeah,
Save
like,
up on the time.
you know, something that's going to bring you down from this life that you're living. You know, because I was very, how can I say this? Mature, responsible, everything at work.
Yeah.
But my life outside of work was a complete different life. You know, and I still talk about that to this day.
Yeah.
You know, I have friends from so many different walks of life.
Yeah.
You know, like you talk about Venn diagrams, you know, where where they meet.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
Okay. I got friends that like those circles would never meet.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a whole different world that I was living outside of work. You know, and this and that. And so when she got pregnant with little Abel, you know, she once again was looking out for me more than herself.
Yeah.
She right away was like, thought it was gonna be a negative thing.
Yeah.
I got fired up.
Yeah, like damn, this is my this is my
Yeah,
child.
I'm
I'm,
like,
finally gonna have a child. Your family over here, like finally.
Yes, yeah,
I would have thrown a whole party for you.
I was excited. I'm not sure anybody else was.
Yeah.
I still to this day don't think anybody gave me a chance.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, to be from the life I was living
Okay.
to a family man.
From a bachelor.
Yeah, when I broke it to you guys, I'm sure you guys were like, "Oh, Abel's done."
Yeah. There's just no way.
When I was like,
Well,
"Hey, I'm joining the community."
as it is, it was strange. Like not strange, but it was just kind of odd that Abel was gonna have a
Yeah,
child,
yeah.
like in itself, right? Like one child. That's before we even knew, like, you know, his now wife had already 3
Yeah.
children. So once that kind of kicked in, it was like, man, how do you go from being a single bachelor to having a family of what, 6
6 yeah.
overnight? Pretty much
overnight. Just
yeah.
And
So-
like I said, I was excited. I was fired up. I'm sure my family was panicking.
Yeah.
I know my friends were panicking.
Yeah.
You know, because nobody had ever met her either.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, and I kept telling everybody, I promise you guys, when you guys meet her,
It'll all just like
she's gonna jump right in as if she's
Yeah.
always been part of the family, as she's always been part of the circle. I promise you. And her kids are amazing, or our kids now. But
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
time,
yeah.
I'm looking, I'm like, this is
Yeah.
everything I ever wanted, you know?
Yeah.
Because I come from a family of 4. You know, I'm the baby of 4 kids. My parents had boy, girl, boy, boy. I was 8 years younger than my next sibling.
Wow.
Okay, Anna already had boy, girl, boy, and then we had little Abel, who was
Yeah.
7.5 years younger than Isaac. So it
so
was like,
it was like yeah.
oh, it was everything exactly how I wanted. I mean, like I said, some people say like things are just meant to be.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and I always wanted 4 kids, and I was so late in life. I mean, I wasn't gonna be able to do that. You know, so I instantly got my kids. Like it was awesome. Adrian was 9, Tanya was 8, Isaac was 7. You know, so
And you had one on the way.
yeah, and then we had little Abel.
Yep.
You know, and so it was like instant. I was pumped up. Everybody was panicking, and then once the Abel was born, I brought him down. You know,
From Oregon.
Abel was actually born in Washington.
Okay,
Oh,
Washington.
okay.
You know, he was actually born up there. I went up there, brought him down, and exactly what I said. Once everybody met Anna,
Yeah.
was she not everything I explained?
Yeah.
Like,
No.
she was like instantly
Love Anna.
part of the circle. You know, my family met her, and she was instantly part of the family.
Yep.
And now I even joke, I'm like, you might be more part of the family than I am. Because
Well,
like my family's
it's true.
wild.
Well,
you know?
and I was gonna say, like, for example, we've been friends with Abel, but we weren't exactly in the same culture realms. Like, we've seen how he grew up, and Anna's profile fit more with the way we grew up.
Yeah.
So when she came down, she like instantly was like he says, part of it, and then all together we taught him to kind of mold to the culture.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, because he didn't really speak Spanish before
yeah,
then. Like,
yeah.
I would say a word, even if it was like lingo, like slang, and he still wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
And now it's like he knows more Spanish than anybody, and he
my
learned.
my wife always brings up words. I'm like, is that a real word? Like,
Yeah.
you're just making up words now.
He learned how to dance cumbias and guapangos and sing karaoke in Spanish. You
Yeah.
know, so
Yeah, so like I said, the life that I had lived and everything I had shown people up until that point did not say I was going to be the family man I am today at all. You know, and up until my wedding, I can't sing for anything. I can't. My wife is an amazing singer. I can't sing. I don't even sing in the showers because I don't want to hear myself.
she does
You know?
kick-ass karaoke.
Yes. So at our wedding, I did a lip sync.
Okay.
And I sang the Tim McGraw song.
Okay.
Bad boy, real good man. You know, I'm like, because that's exactly me. Like, I was a really bad boy, but I've turned into a really good man. You know, like, and I talk to people. They're like, man, I couldn't have done what you did, man. Like, there's no way I could have done that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, just flipped the switch from one day to the next. I was a different person.
Yeah.
And
It was almost like you would think that somebody would struggle in those shoes, right? To be
definitely.
single, but it was almost like all those years were preparing him for that, because by the time the moment got here, he was ready.
He was
for
ready,
it.
yeah.
And so like I'm really inspired by seeing you know, the way things have developed, and obviously we had more of a bond now because I already had kids, and you know, the rest of our friends had kids, and now we were able to do the kid thing. Before it was like, oh, here comes single Abel. And now we were able to bond and take trips and do the camping and do everything that we've always wanted to do. And probably the most inspiring part has been the way he took on his wife's kids as if it was his own. And if you were to see the relationship that he has with them, you would never think that he wasn't their birth father. Yeah, like those are his kids.
We've gone out many times, and people don't know.
They'll say they look like you.
Yes.
They'll
be like, okay,
look like
these
your
two
dad.
look like your wife.
Yeah.
And these look
two
like
look
you.
just like you, and this and that.
Tienen tu nariz, tienen tus ojos.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
It happens.
I mean,
it's because it's like the combination of when you guys just like convivir como familia, like your little, somewhere or another, your features and your characteristics kind of just like collide.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
You want to hear a crazy parallel story? My boy Isaac. Oh man, I love that kid. His personality is unreal. Like, he's the life of the party at our parties.
Yeah.
You know, like if we're having
He's a middle child. Well, he was the middle child.
Yes,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
the
yeah.
one, right? He's got this personality that's just, he sings, he dances, he raps.
Good looking.
He's a good looking, great looking guy. You know, so obviously I'm a teacher at his high school when he was in high school. Right?
Yeah.
Well, his senior year, he has a girlfriend, and he doesn't take her to homecoming. He took a different girl.
Oh my
shit.
gosh.
You know,
The same story.
Talk
as the
about
dad.
repeating patterns.
he took a different girl from a different school to homecoming, just like I took a different girl from a different school to homecoming.
Yeah.
And the girl that he took had the same name as the girl that I took.
Bro, I cannot.
Hey, but you never told him the story though, right?
I told him afterwards.
That is
I go,
crazy.
Isaac,
It wasn't one of those where you're like, oh, dad did it. Let me go.
Isaac's like, oh man, this and that. So I go, Isaac, I gotta tell you the story, man.
Yeah.
And we laughed about it for so long.
Yeah.
I thought it was super cool. My wife is anti all that.
Yeah.
You know, and we joke about it all.
You morons.
Well, we joke about it all the time because, like my mom was always looking out for me.
Yeah.
You know, she was gonna take care of her baby.
Yeah.
You know, if I was doing stuff I wasn't supposed to be doing, she wasn't gonna tell nobody.
No. Yeah.
You know, she's like, and my
how
wife
moms
is
are.
always like, I ain't gonna be that mom.
Yeah.
I go, babe, you're not gonna cover up for little Abel? Heck no. And she's always like, he's not gonna be like you. He's not gonna be like you. And I always tell her, I'm like, all right, babe, well, let's check this out. Like, he's probably gonna be taller than me, right? Because my wife's tall.
Yeah.
All my in-laws are tall. And Adrian is 6'3". Isaac is about 6 foot.
Damn.
So chances are Abel's gonna be tall. He's better looking than I was. He's probably gonna be more athletic than I was.
Yeah.
I go, and because of you, he can sing, he can dance. I go, yeah, women hate those kind of guys. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I go,
actually.
women hate those kind of
Scare
guys.
chicks away.
Yeah, you know, so we always joke around. She's like, nah, I'm not gonna do that.
That's funny.
So to get back to the Isaac story, well,
Yeah.
Isaac does this thing, right? He breaks up with his girlfriend, takes another girl, right? And then he got back together with his girlfriend, much like myself.
Same scenario.
Well, like a week later, we go out for family dinner. And so we're all going together and we go pick up Isaac's girlfriend. And as soon as she gets in the car, my wife says, oh, hi, you already forgave Isaac?
Oh.
And I look at her.
damn.
I go, babe, what? She's like, yeah, this and that. Like she's not going to cover up for nobody.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're not going to be cool like grandma? She's like, no. She's like, no,
Hey, but
She's a girl's girl.
She wasn't. She also wasn't like blasting him like in a lie, but she was like kind of like own up to it type.
Yeah.
Of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was just like, man, babe, like easy. Like, what? So I'm like trying to change the subject. I'm trying to talk about something else. And she's like, pues no, like lo que hizo. And this and that.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
god, that was awkward.
Yes. I'm like, babe, you know, so
That's
she's just
funny.
like, no, this and that. She's like, no sé cómo tu mamá hizo todo eso. This
Yeah.
and that. I'm like, my mom was super cool. Like,
Hell yeah.
You know,
Hey, no está. He's all
well, I still remember one time I was at a baseball game. She had just dropped me off at a baseball game. And we live out of town, right? Mind you, we live out of town in my hometown. And she gets home and two girls walk up. And she's like, and they're like, is Abel here? And my mom's like, no, he has a baseball game. I just dropped him off at the baseball game. And the girl's like, oh. And my mom's like, I'm gonna give you a ride to the game. And they're like, sure.
Yeah.
So my mom took him to the game, and you know, on their way over there, they're telling my mom that, you know, that they both think I'm cute and they like me. And does that bother you, Mrs. Saenz? And mom's like, no. My mom thought it was great, you know.
Yeah, that's funny.
You know, I tell everybody, like, I don't know how my mom was so cool for so long. Like, you know, she had a son grow up in the 70s. A son and daughter grew up in the 70s, and she was cool. And then my brother Abe grew up in the 80s, and she was cool. I grew up in the 90s, and she was cool. And she had grandkids, you know, in 2000, and I'm like, she's cool for like 4 or 5.
She maintained her coolness for like 4 years.
Hey, that seems stressful, right? To cover for your kids and like always be on the lookout.
She stands on business.
For like 4 or 5 decades of being cool and all. So yeah, you know, but like I said, I mean, she my wife is like anti all that. She's like, no, this and that and everything. Like, she knows everything. Like, there's nothing she's gonna hear on this show that she doesn't already know.
She doesn't already know. Of course.
You know, that's the relationship my wife and I have. I'm positive.
I'm about to roll one out.
Because we can dig some shit out.
No, but she's cool as shit.
Yeah, that's the relationship my wife and I have.
That's
Like she knows, like how she likes to say, palomita blanca.
Yeah.
She knows I wasn't. You know, she says that all the time. You know,
Palomita
Ella
negra.
sabe lo que tiene.
she knows who I was.
Como yo.
You know, and she was previously married. This and that. So when we went in with no secrets.
Yeah. Everybody has a past.
Yeah, we went in with no secrets. And that's why when she hangs out with us, like, you don't have to worry about what you say in front of her.
That's good.
Like he can just talk freely.
I'd be like, you remember that time we got stuck with these bitches and this and that?
South Park.
And she's like, yeah. Well, it's similar. I mean,
Yeah, because it's funny because I'm just like, bro, what?
Me
Tell me.
and Amberline will always talk about stories, and it's like, I mean, Amberline was my best friend for a while, you know. She knows all my dirt. And so.
The people that don't know, are my kids.
Yeah.
They're the ones that don't know everything.
Okay.
You know, and some of my friends want to like tell them. Like,
I want to tell them.
Yeah. Like, hey.
I bring your kids in right now.
That's different because then it kind of brings back the whole like, no, because they can't think that that's okay.
That's what I was gonna say.
Oh, daddy did it.
Well, it's funny because like this is the person they know.
Yeah.
You know, I say this all the time because I saw this quote one time or a little meme that says, my old friends don't know the new me. And my new friends don't understand my past.
Yeah.
That's me
That's
to
true.
a T. Because I was a complete different person at 33 than I was at 34.
Yeah.
Well, actually, 34. Abel was born when I was 34.
Yeah.
You know, 33 to 34. I was a complete
Yeah.
different person, you know, overnight.
Yeah.
You know, so I always talk about this. And so my kids, they only know this person.
Yeah.
You know,
Hey,
the school I'm at right now only knows, you know,
Yeah,
signs, this and that.
exactly.
And they're friends with my friends. So I'm like, no, like they can't know all this stuff. And my friends get mad. They're like, nah, they need to know.
They need to know what the fuck they got.
Because they think I'm boring dad.
Yeah.
That I was always boring dad.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Bro, if you only knew.
and
Hey,
well, go ahead.
no, go ahead. You were gonna say a story?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
there was one time they bluntly told me, like, hey, Dad, like when we first moved to Texas with you and this and that, like they talked amongst themselves. They're like, we thought you were like some kind of loser, you know, this and that. I'm like, what? What do you mean? And they straight up told me, they're like, yeah, like, you know, that you were kind of loser and you had to settle
Oh, shit.
for a woman with 3 kids.
Damn it, boy.
You know, and I'm like,
You're like wanting to come out like
They were
you only
bashing their own
know."
situation.
yes, that, you know, that I had to settle.
They're like, Dad, we wouldn't have done it.
so I told my wife and we laugh about it. Right?
Yeah.
And I told her, I go, babe, what's worse, that I had to settle for someone who had 3 kids, or you had to settle for somebody that nobody else wanted? According to our kids, you know, according to
Yeah.
I'm like, which one's worse? I don't know who's more insulted, me or you. And she just laughs and everything, and I just crack up because like my kids, they do these things and
Yeah.
they just think I'm this boring guy. I'm like,
You're over here biting your tongue.
I'm like, yeah, you guys.
Let's pull the old chest.
I'm like, yeah, you guys are wild.
Hey, so talking about that, right? Like to end, obviously you had an awesome single life, right? And you were blessed, and you got a chance to meet the love of your life with your kids and who you love a lot. Once you became that family man, right? How did that impact your work, your career as a coach, as a head wrestling and a football coach? Did that make you more mature? What inspirations did you develop after that?
I tell everybody this, okay, and I'll tie it into your question, okay, because I've definitely lived both sides of this world.
Yeah.
I've lived both lives, and I tell everybody that'll listen, this one's better. You know, but if you told me when I was single,
Yeah.
I'd be like, hell no.
Yeah. I don't want to let go of
Ain't
this.
nobody living a better life than I am.
Yeah.
You know, but I've lived both, and I tell everybody, like, this is so much better having a family to come home to. You know, so to answer your question, when I was the single coach, I volunteered for everything. You know, I'll be like, hey, man, I'll do the laundry. You guys go. You guys have families.
Yeah, I don't have nobody to go
Yeah,
to.
what am I? I'm in a hurry to get to an empty house?
Yeah, exactly.
Like go. I'll take care of the laundry. I'll put it away. I'll do this. I'll make sure the kids are picked up. Like, you guys get home to your families.
Yeah.
This and that. And so my wife asked me the same question, but I messed up the answer because, like I said, my wife and I are too blunt. Like we're too open.
Yeah.
And so I was talking about how sometimes we have these athletes, you know, that get distracted by girls. You know, they have this potential, this and that, and something will distract them along the way when it comes to a girl, you know, this and that. I go, and they don't live up to their full potential that they could have had, and this and that. So my wife's like, and how about you? I'm like, oh no, babe, I was going out with girls when I was super young, this and that, and everything. And I go, way before high school, I was hooking up with girls, this and that. And whack, she hits me. She's like, I mean now, Coach Saenz. I was like, my bad. No, babe, you made me a lot better. You know, and it's true. Like she has made me a much better person. You know, she's made me grow in ways I didn't even think I could grow in. Our first year together in Corpus Christi, she came in, and so she got there. My wife was not an athletic background at all. My wife was a folklorico dancer.
I was gonna say, unless dancing's
she was folklorico dancer. She was mariachi singer. She sang in church. Athlete, she was not.
Yeah.
So she moved in with a guy that's all sports. So she went to every single football game, had no idea what was going on at the beginning, but she was the loudest one in the stands. And then come wrestling season, that year my team was stacked.
Yeah.
You know, so we'd go to the first tournament, we'd win a trophy. We'd take pictures with the trophy. My wife screaming, has no idea what she's yelling, but she's screaming.
She's there
No idea what
cheering
she's
you
want.
on.
No idea what's going on, but she's yelling and this and that. And we take a picture with the trophy. Next tournament, take a picture with the trophy. So we get to the point where at tournaments, she's like, when can we take a picture with the trophy? And I'm like, babe, like we got to win this
Got to
tournament.
win the whole thing now.
She's like, we're going to win. So that year, you know, we were district champions, boys and girls. The girls were regional champions. The boys got second. And we go on to state, and we placed second and third in state or something. And I got voted coach of the year for the state of Texas.
Wow.
You know, so she's like, did you ever win that before? I'm like, no, I had never won this award for the whole state of Texas. She's like, so I made you a better coach then.
Of course.
She takes
Of
credit for
course.
that.
Yeah, she's like, you had never won that. She's like,
Without me.
she's like, you had won tournaments before me? I'm
Yeah, I like her logic. It makes sense.
Yeah. She's probably like, you're welcome.
yeah. She's like, you won tournaments before me. I'm like, yeah. You won district tournaments before me. I'm like, yeah. Regional champions, yeah. But never that one. I'm like, no.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Just make sure. What are some of your...
So we took that,
Uh-huh.
and I come over here. And you're talking, I'm at the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
I
Coming from
just
coach of the year?
I got coach of the year. I just got a family.
Yeah.
You know, I have kids. Everything's amazing.
You're winning.
Yes, I am loved over there. We come over here. We got off to a rough start. You know, and my wife hadn't experienced that. You know, so she's in the stands and they're saying some nasty things about her husband.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just not going well, you know, and it was tough. It was very, very tough, you know, but I'm happy we moved over here, you know, because here in the valley, I had my brothers, I had my sister, I have cousins, I have aunts, uncles, my parents. In Corpus, it was just me.
Yeah.
You know, because when I got that job, I went over there by myself, not knowing a single person. I didn't even know the person that hired me.
Yeah.
Not even the man that hired me knew who I was.
Well, that says a lot because you created a name for yourself over there, just walking in versus saying, "Oh, well, that's so and so's brother."
Yeah,
that's
without
Eselijo's."
connections,
Yeah,
right? You know what I mean?
exactly.
It's
That's
like
where I'm getting at.
Normally it's a political world.
Yeah, I didn't know a single. I had never been to Corpus Christi except for a tournament.
Yeah.
And you know, so I went there and came back. So I was concerned once my wife and the kids moved there. I was worried because as a coach, you work a lot of hours.
Yeah.
Like I'm there late, this and that. And my wife and I just got together. My wife comes from a very, very tight family where they're getting together all the time. I was worried one day I was going to get home from work and she had gone back to Oregon. Like I had those thoughts in my head that one day she's going to be like,
she was doing
I'm just here home alone all day in the house with the kids. Like, and she was just going to, so so we came down here. It was great because while I'm coaching or whatever, somebody in the family is having a birthday party. Somebody in the family is having something's going on. So it was great living here, and my wife loves it here. Like she just loves this area, loves the people, loves the town.
Yeah. Any big accomplishments once you moved down here?
Yeah, this past year I had my first ever state champion that I coached.
Wrestling.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, it was awesome. Like that person worked, that little girl worked so hard and everything, and she went through and she ended up being a state champion. That was my first ever state champion.
Yeah.
Everybody's all excited. And
I remember, is that the one they did a parade for in the city of Edinburgh?
Yeah. She's the one that after the match threw me on my back.
Yeah.
You know, so that's going well. You know, the team has progressively gotten better every year. This and that. You know, there was a time I had all three of my kids on the team.
Wrestling?
Right.
Okay.
All three of them. You would think that was gonna be a good thing, right?
Yeah.
I was all excited, this and that. Oh man, that was the toughest time.
Yeah.
You know, because everything they didn't see coach.
Yeah.
They saw dad.
They saw that.
Yeah.
Dad's telling me to do this.
Why is Dad pressing me
I'm
like that?
Man, just
Yeah.
freaking do it.
Yeah.
You know, and so I talked to a coaching buddy of mine that coached his kid, and I go, hey, man, you never told me how hard it is to coach your own kid. He's like, oh, man, it's terrible.
Yeah.
I'm like, you never told me this. I'm like,
Yeah.
You never asked.
I'm like, I thought it was going to be perfect. I was
Yeah.
like, man, they already know what I want. They've already heard me coach before. They know exactly what I'm looking for.
They have the expectation.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, that was the toughest time, this and that. I was like, why do I got to do this? Why? Like, if I was asking them to clean the room.
Yeah.
I'm like, because you need to run. That's why
Yeah.
you need to do
Yeah.
that. You know, I'm like, so that was an experience in itself right there. And that coach that told me, he's like, yeah, man, when I coached my son, I told him, you either gotta be really, really good or really, really bad.
Yeah.
He's like, you can't be in the middle.
Yeah.
He's like, because if you're really, really good, I can play you. Because obviously
Yeah.
you're really, really
Yeah.
good.
And it doesn't matter that you're
Yeah.
nice.
He's like, if you're really, really bad, I can't play you because you're not good, and you know you're not good, and your mom and the family.
I can't sell it to the world.
Yeah, he's like, if you're somewhere in the middle and I play you,
It's like,
that's bad.
yeah,
I can't do that.
that's harsh.
Yeah, so it's been fun, you know. And then little Abel now is coming up. Little
So
Abel.
now your youngest son, you spend a lot of time with him, coaching him up, and you know, I'm sure it's also been a learning experience that you got with your other kids, older kids, and you know that have kind of.
Well, my older kids also, they kind of say that too, like, oh yeah, but little Abel this, oh, but little Abel that. I'm like, mind you, the other three are like all 1 year apart. You know, so when they would get into trouble at home, you know, one of them would come tell on the other. You know, so I'd go in there and I'd, you know, lay down the law and get mad at them, snap. You know, and the other two would come defend, and then all three of them would get in trouble.
Yeah.
You know, or something was going on. They were either fighting each other, they were taking each other's cell phones, they were taking each other's chargers, all this stuff. And they're like, and Abel, I'm like, well, if Abel does do something wrong, he's not going to come telling himself.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, he's not going to come telling himself. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like, so they're like, oh, yeah, whatever, this and that. I'm like, so he's now just starting his athletic journey. The other three already graduated. You know, they're doing amazing things. I'm freaking so proud of them. Like,
Yeah.
Adrian is now selling cars here locally and
Yeah.
everything, and that guy's work ethic is unreal. I'm talking in COVID time when no one had a job, he had three.
Damn.
Like, he was just working. He's
Yeah.
always,
And he's the quietest one of the bunch.
he used to be.
Yeah.
He used to be.
He's a
the
little
quiet
loud now.
Oh yeah. All through high school, he was kind of to himself. This
Yeah.
and that. After high school, he's really discovered himself. And you will not find a more confident person than that guy right now.
Good for him. Good for him. I'm happy
You
for
know,
him.
he's got a good job now. He works hard. He's always doing stuff. He's just he needs to get a little bit better at money management.
Yeah. I mean, but I think we all go through
He's
that.
still young. He's still young.
You know, so I got kids that'll help you out with whatever you need. You know, if you need a new car,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
got one.
You go to Adrian.
Yeah.
You know, you go get a car from Adrian. This and that. If that's not working for you with the ladies, you go see Isaac.
Yeah.
Isaac works at a tire place.
Oh, shit.
He can hook you with some tires and wheels. This and
Yeah,
that.
get you pimped
make your
out.
ride look a little bit better.
Get you pimped out. Yeah.
If that still doesn't work, it must be something with your looks. You can go see my daughter. She works at a plastic surgeon's office.
Wow.
She can help you out with
get a
it.
BBL.
Oh, remind me to get her number.
She can help you out there, you know, so.
That's very cool, brother. No, we want to thank you for making the time to jump on the show with us, and we really enjoyed our conversations.
Yeah, the stories,
And
the experience.
yeah, and we got to do a round two because I know we had some pending items
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
and yeah, so stay tuned.
Oh, for sure. Thank you for having me, man. It was a lot of fun. I hope to come back again.
Yeah.
Yeah, chill.
We look at these pictures together, okay? One time. And then we delete the evidence.
I say we delete it right now. Are you nuts? I want to find out how I wound up in the hospital. Is that in there?
Yeah, it's in there. Guys, one time. Deal?
Deal.
Deal.
Okay. Oh, dear Lord.
That's classic!
You spin my head right round when you go down, when you go down.
Walk out the house with my swagger, hop in that window. I got places to go. People to see, time is precious. I look at my Cartier